What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, your 401k, everything going on here that you need to know about on a daily basis, including the fourth stimulus package and stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, thanks for hitting the like button for us down below. We have multiple states that are sending out stimulus checks, passing gas tax relief, and inflationary relief. We're going to go over that here in this video. Also, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, leader of the Democrats, just was interviewed talking about inflation and whether or not what is going to happen, she thinks, here going forward with the elections and everything else. Very interesting thoughts here. Check out what she has to say here.
Hi, Willie.
Good morning, Speaker Pelosi. Thanks for being with us this morning. I know you well enough to know you won't entertain a hypothetical about losing the House, but let me ask you about some of the headwinds that you're facing right now, which is inflation at 8.5%, gas around $5 a gallon for some people out in this country. Our recent NBC poll showed President Biden with a 39% approval rating and 75%, 3 out of 4 Americans believing we're on the wrong track. How do you overcome that when the country, it looks like, says Democratic president, Democratic Congress, and I don't like where we're headed?
Well, we've faced some of that before, and we have been successful. But let me just you mentioned 2 statistics. Let me mention 2 more. And what we've seen even this morning, that nearly 70% of the American people now say they could withstand a $400 emergency. That's almost a reverse of what we had a couple of years ago. Another figure is that higher than that, into the 70s, the American people have said they have a comfort level with their economic situation. Now, let's get to your point about some of the, shall we say, I don't know what's in Washington, D.C. So, well, history says, well, we're not talking about history. We're talking about the future. History says the president loses seats after in the off year. Well, the president gained seats in the on year. This president did not, but he won the election. He helped us hold the House. We helped him win the election. And those of our candidates or our members who won in with Trump on the ballot and won in the Trump districts are in pretty strong shape. But we want more. We want more. We have to offset some changes, but we want more. I feel I have absolutely no intention of us losing this election. We'll win it one election at a time. We own the ground with our mobilization. We'll have a non-menacing message that is progressive and bold, but non-menacing, and we'll have the money to do so. They'll have endless money. We'll have enough, and we will win. And it's absolutely essential for our country. Our democracy is on the ballot. Our freedom is on the ballot. But to get to your point, the kitchen table, but we talked about the kitchen table issues. In terms of inflation, so much is being done by this president. We have to make sure that public sentiment understands that. Inflation is a global phenomenon right now. In fact, in the UK, it's around 10%. So that doesn't make it any better for us. What are the things we are doing to reduce the global inflation and what that means to us? We are in the works now of our Competes Act to address the supply chain. Supply is down, therefore prices are up. We're in there we just passed the other day 2 bills in terms of price gouging and market manipulation, bring down the cost of price at the pump. And that has something to do with the war in Ukraine, but not everything, but a good deal of it. We're also working on reducing the cost of food for people because of the exploitation, again, of the consumer by some in the agriculture industry. Okay, but over and above all of that, understand that unemployment, President created almost 8 million jobs. When unemployment unemployment was cut in half. When unemployment goes down, inflation has gone up. So and wages have gone up, and that contributes to inflation. We We want unemployment down. We want wages up, and we have to address the inflation issue. But we are.
So, and Americans need to see those changes. They need to, so that those numbers go down. I want to ask you about why you're in town, the Global Citizen Urgency of Now Summit. Just really quickly, though, on this point, Democrats are going to be campaigning toward the midterms during very turbulent economic times. Some of the things that might be happening that may drive numbers up, they may have no control over. There could be a food crisis. There's things happening around the world that could impact the economy. So, the baby formula crisis. This, to me, seems unforced as an error, and it may be pushed back if you want. Was there a failure to communicate at the highest level, a failure to prognosticate? And are there ways in which legislation can be passed so this doesn't happen again?
Well, there has to be. Tomorrow, the Appropriations Committee under the leadership of Rosa DeLauro will be having a hearing into how we got to this place. So will the Energy and Commerce Committee under Mr. Pallone, Chairman Pallone. And so we're coming at it a couple different ways. But let me also just say this. You see the chairman of or whether it's CEO, I don't know if he's chairman, of Abbott apologizing for that. We have to find out. I mean, look, a mother 5, a baby cries, we don't have food. Come on.
That's just as bad as it gets.
That's as bad. It hits us home as deeply as possible. But we did pass last week 2 bills, one that overwhelmingly passed bipartisan in terms of, setting us on a course so that cannot happen again. But the other, to have the money, 20-some million, with an M, $1 million, to help facilitate baby food formula getting to families, and the Republicans all voted against it. How do you vote against some $1 million for baby food formula? How do you do that?
I don't get it.
But consistent. When we did the bill to reduce from $300 to $600 per month for insulin, only 12 Republicans in the House voted for the bill.
There you go.
12. So understand the challenge that we have, always trying to find common ground because it's for the people, for the children.
So, yeah, let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Big question on whether the Democrats will be able to retain control in the House and the Senate here with the upcoming elections. Nancy Pelosi questions the same thing I question on why the vast majority of Republicans in the House voted no on that baby formula bill, which was only, it was 27 or 28 million dollars, like she said, with an M, million, not $1 billion, with the baby formula crisis. And you hear the political blame, a lot of people trying to blame it on President Biden, or I'm sorry, a lot of Republicans trying to blame it on Biden, and then the Republicans vote no on a bill they try to pass in the House. It did pass in the House, but the vast majority of Republicans all voted no on. There was 12 Republicans that went against their party and voted yes on it anyways. It was only $28 million. That might sound like a lot, but for the whole country, the whole United States, that's literally, in comparison, in the scheme of things, that's pennies. I mean, normally we're talking billions or sometimes trillions of dollars. So $28 million in emergency funding to address baby formula shortage is about as small of a bill as it gets. So, and there was 12 Republicans that bucked their own party. This is the term they used, and went against their Republican leadership that called for them to vote against this. I don't know if it's like, they want to stick it to the man and try to put the blame on Biden and make him look bad in front of the country or what. But that doesn't help mothers across America that need formula. There's a lot of mothers out there that can't produce enough milk, or for whatever choice or whatever reason, they need formula. There's millions of mothers that need formula, and right now with the shortage, it's difficult. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Lots of states considering or now are have it passed a gasoline tax holiday to help their residents lower the cost of gas. You can see this headline here. Will Ohio and Kentucky suspend the gas tax? Georgia drivers and others are now enjoying a quote gas tax holiday. Yeah, pressure is growing for states to suspend their gasoline taxes. Will Ohio and Kentucky and some other states I'm going to talk about here in a second get on board? A growing number of states are now suspending their gasoline taxes in an effort to bring down soaring gas prices, currently averaging $4.60 nationwide, an all-time high, the highest they have ever been. Georgia is currently has some of the lowest gas prices in the nation because it suspended its state's 29 cents per gallon gas tax in late March. Yeah. But Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana are not among the states doing this, and many tri-state drivers are asking why not. I've had a lot of people from Ohio saying, "What's going on with Ohio?" And I wish there was more to report on Ohio. Ohio has previously cut state taxes, state income taxes. Remember that a lot of Republican run states tend to go for cutting taxes. That's just kind of a typical Republican type thing. I'm not leaning left, right, or center, but that's what a lot of Republican run states tend to do is they go with tax cuts. Tax cuts. So we have seen Ohio do that here previously. You can see here from this article about 11 months ago, Ohio lawmakers send budget with tax cuts, new school funding formula to Governor Mike DeWine's desk. So they did pass tax cuts here a little bit less than a year ago with tax cuts for residents of the state of Ohio. But there really just has not been a lot of news quite yet for Ohio on stimulus checks or what they're quite doing yet. I will keep you up to date though as soon as I see it. Trust me, I'm from Ohio, so when it comes around, I'll let you know. But they are talking about potentially a gas tax cut in multiple different states, potentially Ohio here as well. And as you can see here, after all, opening the strategic petroleum reserves barely had any impact on rising prices, now averaging around $4.50 a gallon in the state of Ohio and, well, across the country. Many people are saying anything to lower my gas bill would be great. Yeah, quote, Georgia is still in the midst of a gas tax holiday, and as a result, it has some of the cheapest gas prices in the country. We've seen Connecticut, Maryland, and some other states have also passed gas tax holidays that have lowered gas pump prices. Florida has also passed a gasoline tax suspension for 1 month, 25 cents per gallon, but they're going to make everybody wait until October, 1 month before their governor goes up for re-election. So a little bit of a controversial move there to help local drivers. They say it's to not help out of staters who will be driving the state's roads not as much then, but I don't know. You can let me know your thoughts on that. Ohio currently pays 38 cents per gallon gas tax, the 7th highest in the nation. Kentucky 25 cents and Indiana 24 cents. This is on top of the 18 cents per gallon federal gas tax. Meanwhile, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has said several times the impact for consumers would be negligible, while the impact on the state's crumbling roads would be enormous. I'm not sure if I agree with this. I'll tell you why. He said Ohio depends on gasoline tax to repair potholes and repave aging roads and says it would be a mistake to roll back the tax. I think people would be very surprised if they found in 6 months that their roads are not being repaired, he said in a conference earlier this year. Well, the bipartisan physical infrastructure package is giving each state billions of dollars to repair roads, bridges, and physical infrastructure. So they're getting extra money to do exactly that. And remember, if you've been watching my channel, all these states are flush with cash. They're getting the physical infrastructure money. They also have billions of dollars from the stimulus package money that they already got. And they're bringing in extra money right now because most people, or a lot of people, yeah, I can't even say most people, a lot of people have gone back to work. Revenues are going up for states and the federal government. Remember, unemployment is near a 50-year low. It's at 3.6%. The 50-year low was 3.5%, which was just hit like a month or two ago. So state revenues are going up, sales tax revenues, income tax revenues, same thing with the federal government. Their revenues are going up as well. President Biden recently said here that they're projected to have a $1.5 trillion surplus. Okay. Same thing with the states. If you've been watching these articles I've been showing you here as I kind of come across them from different states, um, that each state is literally bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars extra, sometimes per month. Per month. So they have like money coming out of their ears from all these different situations, and that's the reason why states are giving back these extra stimulus checks, tax rebate checks, whatever type of checks you want to call them. Some each state's doing them a little differently. They're different checks for different reasons. Each state's a little different, right? Or even gas tax holidays, right? Because when they do a gas tax holiday, uh, you know, the Ohio governor is right that they do pause the money coming in for the road repairs. So, I mean, what he's saying is technically right. They're pausing their road repair fund, but basically they're just using their kitty money, their bankroll money, because they have all this money. So it's just one way of giving back to the people. So when they give a stimulus check, when they give a tax rebate check, when they give a gas tax holiday, when they pause the grocery tax, whatever they decide to do, it's basically just saying, hey, we have this extra money and we want to give it back to the people. So each state is deciding different ways. When you see a state like I think it was Illinois, and there was a couple other states, Illinois did kind of like a package one, where they did $50 checks to adults, $100 checks to children. They paused the gas tax, they paused the grocery tax. I've seen some people complain about the $50 checks to adults. I get it, those are low, but you got to remember that they did multiple different things. We're like, some states are only pausing their gas tax for a month. A state like Illinois did multiple things. They did $50 checks for adults, $100 checks for children. They paused their gas tax, they paused their grocery tax, and if I recall correctly, I think they also had a property tax rebate as well that could be up to $300 as well. So you really see that there's multiple different checks and or savings that you could get. Every time you go to the grocery store, you're saving a little bit of money of that tax. You're saving some money on gas. You're saving some money on, the different types of checks. So it's really kind of like a stimulus package on the state level. So there's really, and really if I recall correctly, the state of Illinois really isn't one of those states that is super flush with cash. They actually have they're one of the more debt burdened states. So they actually kind of did a pretty good job of actually giving back to the people. And I know some people are going to complain that they're only getting $50 for a single adult, but you got to kind of look at it overall and also remember that it's not like a state like California that has almost $100 billion in surplus money, right? So, I get it. And again, I'm not from Illinois. I don't have any affiliation with them. I'm not like, you know, like, rooting for them or anything specifically. I'm just kind of looking at everything objectively as a realist. So, same thing with Ohio, man. I wish Ohio was doing more. But again, I can only I can't make up the news. I can only report on what's going on here, and states that are passing big checks like Maine, $850 per person, and I think there was some property tax rebates in there as well, if I recall correctly. A married couple's going to get $1,700 there, and Alaska, which just passed their really really big checks. A lot of these states that are passing bigger checks, that's because their states has a lot of money, and some of these other states may have money and they're passing tax reductions where you'll have lower taxes in the future, and some states are holding on to their money and maybe haven't announced anything they're going to do yet, but will in the future. So I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country. Make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel, because I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here that you need to know about. So click the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and then click the bell icon that appears next to the subscribe button, so you get notifications when we go live with new videos, which is every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest video next. Also, here's a video about May 31st checks that are going to be going out to millions of people, but there's a deadline on that. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.